Hello and welcome. So, for those of you who don't know me, I am goblingrimm. I am super awkward and weird on a fucking microphone and on video, which is why I usually don't show myself. I'm gonna be here sitting, drawing, working on some Hell's Bells art while I talk about people who like to inflate stories and situations online. Those of you who don't know, I am the official artist for Hell's Bells. I do work for See You Later, aka JC Lynn. I only work on artwork as far as the Hell's Bells TikTok series goes. I am not doing and haven't done any of the artwork for her novels. I would love to. That would be super cool, and I am down for it. But at the moment, I'm just working on the artwork for the TikTok series, and I do a comic book series as well based on the TikTok skits. Anywho, so I've come across situations online where, like, there was one creator that I was following, very, very funny. He always told really interesting stories about how he confronted bullies or whatever in public and stuff. And then after a while, it just got to the point where it was every day he had a new story about being in the right place at the right time to be a social champion for somebody else in public. And it got really suspicious. Like, I could see maybe, one or two stories standing up for somebody out in public and, reading someone the riot act or reading them to fill for whatever. That's great for, being a bully to somebody else in a situation where they were being unjust. But this guy made like all of his content on it, and some of the stories were very similar to stories that other creators have told already. So it just got a little suspicious, and people started calling him out, and then he had to like kind of pivot and change his content. But it is very easy to elaborate on situations and stories when your audience can't exactly go and fact check those situations and whatnot, especially if it involves like famous people or celebrities that the average person doesn't have a chance of talking to or reaching out to. For example, I can say I met Matthew Lillard one time. We did not meet out in public. We did not meet by chance or through friends. I met him at a comic book convention where I stood in line for 3 hours to get an autograph that I paid for myself and for one of my nephews. I got to say hi to him. I got to tell him that I was a fan of his work. He gave me a hug and a fist bump. I gave him a keychain, and then I was on my way. That was the extent of the entire situation. I think the cool part about that whole situation, though, was before getting to that situation where I did get to basically stay in the VIP line because one of the ladies that was working security there was a fan of mine, and I technically was supposed to be waiting in line for like another 5 hours, and did not know that. But she slipped me in up front with the VIP line, so I only had to wait for 3 hours instead of like 8 or 9 hours. So that was pretty cool, and I feel a little special there. Other people would have or could have easily inflated that story and situation to be like, oh yeah, I'm friends with Matthew Lillard. I talk to him all the time. I, have his email or his phone number, blah, 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 blah. Whereas, someone who's honest is going to be like, yeah, I paid for an autograph and I stood in line for hours and waited. Again, it's really easy to elaborate on life events and stories and stuff to your followers when they want to believe that you're being honest, especially if you represent yourself as being an honest and upfront person. I've met other celebrities outside of conventions out in the wild, and they were not worth meeting. One was a old rock star who actually we only met him when I was a kid because my best friend at the time, her mom used to date him back when she was 15 and he was in his 30s. um, so yeah, it was interesting walking up to him at a restaurant, and he was happy to see her until he saw her with the two kids and saw my blonde little ass, and then he's sitting there counting on his fingers trying to figure out when the last time he saw her was, because he didn't know if she was showing up with like a brand new illegitimate child that he'd have to pay off and make disappear. So that was interesting. But yeah, he was nice up until that point, and then he was kind of standoffish and ready to get rid of us. I believe that when you're listening to, especially stories on TikTok, because that seems to be the biggest area where people are elaborating life events and situations, is to always take these stories with a grain of salt and kind of remember that, you know, this could have happened, but it very well could have not happened. Or parts of this are very true and other parts are not. It's very much like, listening to an urban legend. Um, it could have been inspired by a true event, and then over time, like through the playing the game telephone, uh, different details keep getting added on or elaborated on, and it's easy to lose track of where the original story started and what is true and what is not true. I pretty much just kind of wanted to touch on that a little bit because, again, I see so many creators online that are, you know, having these like elaborate and very interesting life stories that I'm pretty sure a lot of them are embellished. And again, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of embellishment. We all do it. It's just the people that embellish so much that they lose sight of the original story itself, that it just basically becomes fiction at that point. So yeah, I wanted to close out by saying thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. You guys are awesome. I have some amazing people on there that follow and support me, so I can work on comics, and then so I can also work on some new Hell's Bells art. Some of this is for Patreon rewards. In fact, I am also on Ko-fi, TikTok, Patreon, Pinterest, all of this stuff. Just not on the artist formerly known as Twitter. Like I left that site forever ago. Fuck that place. And again, thank you to anybody who has helped support me and helped me with cat food money to keep Princess Zelda happy and fed, because she's very demanding little cat. But yeah, I have no idea what the hell I'm doing most times. I'm just kind of winging it, and I know that I really should work harder on making some new videos and stuff for YouTube. So that is what I'm attempting to do. I will add all of my links in the description. If you are not, by some chance, already following See You Later and enjoying the Hell's Bells universe, that's a shame. You need to be doing that. She has been adding compilations of the videos to her YouTube, and she is also still on TikTok with her account. Um, you need a good laugh, sometimes a good cry. It's a good place to go and watch some videos.